Drive across North Carolina and you will find something no other American state can claim. Not one big urban center, but a web of booming cities stitched together by sprawling highways. In Charlotte, just a quarter of the state's population calls it home. Unlike typical United States cities, where up to 90% of what's cluster in one core, here, sprawl is not a side effect, it is the blueprint. How did this state turn its back on the classic city model, and what does it cost its people? The answer starts with the map you never see. A map of North Carolina tells a different story than almost anywhere else in the country. Instead of a single city radiating outward, dense population clusters appear along ribbons of interstate, with Charlotte anchoring the southwest. The triad, which includes Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point, spans the center. The triangle, which includes Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, stretches to the east. Smaller hubs like Fayetteville, Asheville, and Wilmington dot the landscape, each separated by long corridors of open land and stitched together by highways such as Interstate 40, Interstate 85, and Interstate 95. State data from North Carolina One Map and the Office of State Budget and Management show 48 statistical areas, with no single city dominating. Charlotte, the largest, claims only 1/4 of the state's population. As one analyst put it, North Carolina is not a single city, it is a network of metros stitched together by highways. Most American cities are built around a single dominant core. Think Manhattan in New York or the Loop in Chicago, where as much as 70 to 90% of jobs, culture, and transit converge within a tight downtown. In those places, life orbits a single center, and the farther you go, the less connected you feel. North Carolina works differently. Here, no single city claims the lion's share of people or jobs. Instead, the state operates as a polycentric network. Multiple cities and towns, each with its own employment centers, universities, and industries, spread across the landscape and linked by highways. Urban studies experts call this a polycentric system, where jobs and growth are distributed across many nodes rather than concentrated in one. This model upends the usual metrics. No core dominates, and the traditional downtown loses its grip. Why does this pattern hold here? And what forces made it possible? In 1959, leaders from North Carolina's universities and state government gathered to create something radical: Research Triangle Park. Instead of trying to revive a downtown, they chose 4,000 acres of rural pine forest, miles from any city center. The Research Triangle Foundation, guided by Governor Luther Hodges and University of North Carolina President William Friday, wanted a place where industry and academia could collaborate without the congestion and costs of urban cores. Early plans, drawn up by landowners, bankers, and university boosters, rejected city sites in favor of cheap, expandable land between Raleigh and Durham. The first tenants, including Chemstrand and later IBM, settled into campus-style offices surrounded by highways and open space, an intentional break from the traditional downtown skyscraper. Meanwhile, Charlotte's banking sector made its own moves. During the 1980s and the 1990s, major players like Nations Bank and Wachovia located their headquarters and back offices not in Uptown, but in emerging suburban hubs such as South Park and Ballantyne. Those decisions, driven by access to highways and affordable land, seeded new job centers far from the city core, pulling development outward and establishing the pattern of decentralized growth that defines North Carolina today. Local governments in North Carolina hold the keys to how land is used, and their choices have lasting effects. Across the state, more than 550 municipalities and 100 counties each set their own zoning rules, with over 100 separate jurisdictions in just the major metro areas. In places like Wake and Mecklenburg counties, up to 70% of developable land is reserved for single-family homes. These zoning maps, drawn parcel by parcel, make dense, walkable neighborhoods nearly impossible in most suburbs. Developers, facing a patchwork of codes and eager to minimize costs, Turn to green fields, open land at the edge of town, where approvals are easier and infrastructure is new. The result is a landscape of subdivisions and office parks, each governed by its own set of rules, reinforcing a pattern where growth spreads outward instead of up or in. Once locked in, this system is hard to reverse, cementing the decentralized, fragmented shape of North Carolina's cities. A morning commute in North Carolina can stretch for miles, sometimes more than 40 minutes each way, just to cross from one county to the next. For most, public transit is not an option. Less than 5% of residents use buses or trains, leaving highways packed with cars and pickups. Families in Johnston or Cabarrus counties spend hours on the road, shuttling between work, school, and errands, while trucks and SUVs idle at bottlenecks on Interstate 40 or Interstate 85. All this driving takes a toll. Vast stretches of pavement funnel stormwater into creeks, raising flood risks with every heavy rain. The daily grind of distance, cost, and lost time is built into the system. Stacking the numbers side by side makes the difference impossible to ignore. In New York City, job density in the core can top 25,000 jobs per square kilometer. Boston and San Francisco each concentrate more than 30 to 50% of all commutes onto subways, trains, and buses. In North Carolina's major metros, less than 5% of residents use transit, and job centers are so spread out that even the busiest nodes barely approach a fraction of the density found in coastal cores. The entire system runs on distance, not proximity. North Carolina's urban patchwork isn't just geography, it is policy, daily life, and the future of American sprawl. Whether it thrives or fractures, this experiment now shapes millions. What would you choose?